welcome to It's a Whole Thing podcast, the happy place for hyperfixations. I am your host, Charlie Michelle, and every first and third Wednesday of the month, we'll bring you a new episode, a new guest, and a new thing. And today's guest is...
Hello, I'm I'm Sarah Piper of Flora and Function, and I am here today to talk about clay.
I'm so excited. I like the email you wrote me was like, let me rant about clay. So yeah, it's safe.
It had so many just like exclamation marks and like extra vowels because I'm just like, oh my god, there's a place that I can just go and be like, let me talk about this thing that I love.
And speaking of, you've got one of your creations right there, eh? Check it out. Check it out.
One of my mugs because I was like, I'm talking about this. I should have my buddy with me. Plus,
Branding.
I'm very accidentally over-caffeinated, so this is non-caffeinated tea.
You know what? We discussed same. A little headache made me go, I need caffeine, and then I overdid it. So I'm here for chaos today. Chaotic clay. So it's safe to say that your thing is clay. Can you describe what that is? This all pottery in general, or is it just, let me preface, I know nothing. I know nothing about the medium. I don't know anything. So I might ask dumb questions.
No, this was so exciting because I was like, I know that you're very familiar with snacks.
Yeah.
And like you're very familiar with Macy and books. And so yeah. I'm like, I kind of love that I get to come on here and be like, here's a thing that you are less familiar with.
This is like the first true episode of something that like I've got no idea about at all. So it feels like the first like non-training wheel episode for me.
Yes. Yeah. Throwing those training wheels away.
Yeah.
So the thing about clay that I love the most and love to like rant about and talk about is just the ability to make something with your hands and then once it's finished, go and like make a cup of tea and drink your coffee out of it. And like being able to take and see the whole process through of going from this is mud, like, and even going further back, because I've done things like in college where we literally dug out our clay from the earth.
Wow.
Yeah. And then like
that's so cool.
Took that all the way through and got to like finish something. So being like, you were dirt.
Yeah. How amazing, yeah, it is to like literally have your hands in the process every step of the way. And then at the end, you've got this thing that's beautiful and useful and yeah. So when did you first discover this interest? I'm going to stop clicking my pen. I just did waba with Kim and she told me I was stimming with my pen too much. So, okay. Sorry, go on.
Oh my gosh. I feel like that's so hard. I actually had a clay class where like it was a glazed chemistry class and one of the people was like, I have this thing about clicking pins, just please don't click pins around here.
I know
it's so hard,
so annoying to some people. All my things that I love to do annoy people so much. The leg bouncing, the pin clicking, the like absent-minded clicking of joints, like yeah.
But anyway. Side rant. So I started clay in college. I was in like an art education like track where you go and you take all of the classes and then like take a little bit of every type of art so that if you go into like pre-K through high school, you have some sort of basis because usually like there's one art teacher and they teach all the art. Yeah. So I was like, if I'm going to do clay, I'm going to do a wheel throwing class. And so I went in there and had a wonderful professor named Erica Passage, who I still like, I literally just emailed her about studio questions like last week, which is I love amazing. That.
When you get like a teacher of some form that just is like, yeah, stick with me. Like yeah, not just done when you leave. Yeah.
Yeah, like last year she just randomly messaged me and was like, you should apply to this show. And I'm like, cool, okay.
So great, yeah.
Doing it. But yeah, I took a class with her And like I had that moment of making something for the first time
Mm.
and then using it and just like stared at this absolutely terrible mug that I had made because it was the first piece I had made. It was
Yeah.
clunky and
Mm.
like glazed terribly. I think my mom still has it, but
Yeah.
but I could take that and drink my coffee out of it. And I had that moment of staring at this being like, I made this with my hands.
Yeah.
And so like after that I was just hooked and was like, this is what I'm doing for the rest of my life.
That is so cool. And it's such a cool testament to like not needing to be perfect when you start out at something and being like, this is kind of awful, but I still did the damn thing, you know? Um
Yes. Oh my gosh.
my in as you mentioned, in like that first grade range, we did a clay thing once, and I don't really remember it, but I know I made this little mini like Stonehenge looking thing. All the normal kids were making like cups and stuff, but I made this like little, and my parents still have it. And every time so it sticks. How long does this last? Like if you take good care of it, or is it around for a good little while? Cause
So
oh,
there is a reason that when we dig up artifacts, we
ah,
find their ceramics.
uh-huh.
Because like once it is fired and through the whole process, like it will last forever. You will
That's
be like,
wild.
I have moments where I spin out about this because I'm just like, I'm making things that people like, I'm making just dumb little guys.
Dude, in like 1,000 years, they're gonna be
Yeah.
like, we dug up a mug and it appears to have like a little ghost with a butt on it. And I'm so
Yes. I
I
was
want to
so
be around for that.
I was gonna get my ghost butt mug to do this with, but it's in the dishwasher.
So dishwasher safe is what I'm
Dishwasher
hearing.
safe.
Hell
Yes.
yeah.
The vast majority of clay may not be microwave safe because
Mm.
iron and metal in microwaves. Yep. But
Extremely useful. Okay.
yes, good things to know. But most of it is dishwasher safe. And like a lot of like pottery studios and things, there's been a lot of stuff about like lead glazes and unsafe materials and
Ah.
like a lot of recent pottery and like getting beautiful colors
Mm.
has been like, okay, how do we get this without using things that can kill us if they leach into our food and drink?
Interesting. Yeah, literally wouldn't have thought about that. I would drink out of anything that you hand.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I have a question. Is there a God, this is gonna sound dumb. Is there like a vegan aspect to some of this? Because I know some like red paints are like
Mm,
carmine or something like that. Is there a way to like is that used in this, or is it all like what is the medium of the paint? Like is it
yeah. So
paint? What is it? Correct me. Help
of the
me.
glaze.
Thank you.
Yeah, most of the paints are like glazes or underglazes, and
Mm,
that's how you get like the colors.
mm,
So most of those come from pigments that are rocks. So it's like, or metals. So
cool.
it's like iron, it's copper, it's cobalt, it's like
Mm,
all of these minerals that are in
cool,
the
cool,
earth.
cool.
So like everything that is on the clay comes from the earth. So
So
like
like no bugs.
no bugs.
Cool.
All the bugs are gonna get burnt away in the kiln.
Yeah.
we're setting this we're setting this up to like over 2000 degrees for the like
Jeez.
yeah, and that's the mid range.
Okay, damn. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? Uh Technical stuff. This wasn't on the
Cool.
question list, but I'm sure you're familiar with it. So, can you walk us through I guess a general what it's going to look like from start to finish?
Yeah.
How like what you do in order?
Yeah. So to start with, we're going to get our clay. Most clay just comes in like a cube bag
Mm,
because it's been extruded from a machine to get all the air bubbles out.
cool.
And then we're gonna cut it into little lumps and wedge it to get any possible air bubbles out. If you like measured your clay and like smacked extra bits on there to like get it the size you want. So we wedge the clay, which is kind of like kneading dough, but
Mm,
you're getting the air bubbles out.
okay.
Yep. And then, which I guess I started sourdough, so now I'm like, which I think is like also kneading. It's like
Yeah.
punching the air
But you
bubbles
want
out.
that gassy as hell. Yeah, yeah,
Yes. That'll regrow the bubbles. Okay,
yeah.
anyway. So once you've got your ball of clay ready to go, then you're going to form it. So either hand building and like doing little pinch pots like you would as a kid,
Mm-hmm.
or chucking it on a wheel and throwing that piece and pulling up the walls, getting everything ready. And then it has to dry for a certain amount of time if we're doing the wheel. So after it dries a little bit, then we're going to flip it over and trim the bottom of the piece. So we formed all of the shapes. Like I formed like this shape and the lip, and then for the trimming is when we're like making the bottom nice.
Oh, I think I've seen some of those videos that are very set where they like keep cutting and cutting, and I'm like,
Yeah.
stop, you're gonna so it's supposed to be very relaxing, but it's a little stressful to me.
Yeah. When you're learning, you cut through the bottoms of pieces constantly.
Okay.
It's like, and I
So it's
still
a
will
thing that does
occasionally be
happen.
like,
Yeah.
oh no, we're close. Okay.
They're like super thin. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I'm sorry. All right, so you make the bottom all nice.
You make the bottom pretty. And then it's got to dry again. So if you're doing something with like attaching handles for mugs, that's after you trim the bottom and make the bottom nice, that's when you attach your handles. So you would, I pull my handle, so you like pull the clay,
Cool.
it looks questionable. It's always really fun to show people how to pull handles, and there are never any silly giggles.
I can only imagine, but that's the first thing I'm gonna do is like look up a video. I'm gonna make a note of that right now. Like
look up
pulling handles. All right.
So you attach any of your attachments when it's still on that, like it's a lot firmer, but it's not like totally dry yet. And that's also where, like, for me, I do all of like the black line work and like the outlines to my designs. So that is inlay, which is carving into the clay, filling it with black slip, and then taking away the extra so it's just in the lines.
Okay.
Either like sponging it or scraping it.
Are you saying filling it with what?
Slip.
Oh.
So slip is mud.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But I use black slip, which is just the mud. So the clay that I use, like super wet, and then I put a colorant in it that makes it turn black.
Cool.
Yes.
Thick.
Yeah. And so then after that, once like the decoration for my part is all done, then we let it completely dry, get to what's called bone dry. And once it's bone dry, that's when we put it in the kiln. And it goes through what's called a bisque firing, which actually comes from like the British like biscuit. It's called a biscuit firing.
That's the cutest thing I've ever heard. Okay.
It's adorable. Yeah. It's because when the clay comes out, like it feels very like rough clay or rough ceramic now. So it's been fired. It's now like strong and permanent. Because anything before that firing, it can be just like turned back into mud again.
So even when it is bone dry,
yes,
you can still wet it, and you're fucked. Okay, yeah. Interesting. Good to know.
Right before you put it in the kiln is when it's like the most fragile and the most likely to break, and that's when you have to like put a layer in and put little stilts around, and then put another shelf and put little stilts around, and like build your shelves up into your kiln.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of what you're describing on various shows and TikToks or whatever, right? But I never knew what the porpoise was. Okay, so you fire it, it's strong.
Yep. And then after that, that is when you do your glazing. So generally we are waxing the bottom of the pieces to help keep the glaze from sticking to that spot. Because when you put the piece in the kiln again, you can't have essentially glass sitting on the shelf. Otherwise, it'll stick to the shelf. Super fun.
Interesting.
Throws people off a lot.
Yeah.
And then like either painting on the glaze. So like I paint in all my colors and I like pour a color for the inside. And then
that's like my favorite part, by the way. I love the inside of your stuff. It's so pretty. Yeah.
You do like a fun spinny with it. You like fill it halfway and then you like spin it to like coat the whole inside. And it's very satisfying when it's like
It's a
done just
very
right.
tactile hobby, it seems. Everything is touching and moving and
Yes.
doing all kinds of stuff.
Like if you count the number of times like I touch each piece, I it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
constant.
Well, that's really cool because like it's like, not to be trite about it or anything, but it's like a little piece of you. You're very hands-on, a little piece of you, and a lot of
Yeah.
your effort and everything goes into like every piece. That's really cool.
Oh
So,
yeah.
after you glaze and do
Yes.
that, or is it donezo or
So after you put the glaze on, you have to fire it a second time,
I knew
and
that.
that's the hotter temperature. And so it goes
Wow.
back in the kiln, goes up to that hottest temperature that you're going to fire it to, which can change based on the type of glaze and firing method that you're doing. And then once it's done, it's like the most scary Christmas ever. You open the kiln and just like hope beyond hope that things turned out the way that like you wanted them to.
Mm-hmm. Because at that point you're done. Like you can't. It
Yep.
it is what it is, right?
Yep. There is a like huge amount of talk about kiln gods in the ceramics community.
Cute.
Like people will make little figurines and stuff to like sit on top of their kilns and
Do you
like
have one?
I don't have one. I need to make one. I don't
Ah,
know what he would be. But I need to make like a little kiln deity.
cute.
Um but like yeah, at a studio that I used to work at, they had a little dish with a little like it was like a little mouth guy, and they would always put pennies in that when they did a raku firing because that's one of the most like volatile. You never know what it's going to come out, but they would leave little offerings for the kiln
That's
gods.
sweet. That's really cute.
It's really precious.
So, what what do you think that this passion gives you? As far as like, does it bring you more joy? Is it very joyous to you, or is it kind of grounding? Is it an escape? Like, what do you when you turn to this hobby? What are you
Yeah.
finding in it?
It totally depends on the part of the
Mm,
process because like we just walked through all of these different steps that go into making the piece. So like the throwing part of it is so grounding
uh,
because the clay kind of senses when you're afraid. And sometimes there's days where it's just like throwing isn't going to happen. This just isn't what's going on
I
today.
love that.
Like if you are skittish, the clay knows.
Mm,
So it's like you have to put yourself in this like centered, grounded, like I can take on anything. I can handle any blow that comes at me
mm.
because the clay's going to humble you. It's going to do something weird every time.
It's like when you work with horses, they say you have to have like
Yeah.
adopt a certain kind of like if you're skittish, that horse is gonna know and you're gonna get messed up.
Yep.
I don't know why
Yep.
that's the parallel true, but yeah. Okay, so it's a grounding, centering. You got to be a little
Yes.
confident.
Yeah. And then there's all the other steps. And I'd say that's the same with like trimming. Anything
Right.
on the wheel, I would say is very grounding and centering. But then every time it's like opening up the kiln, I feel like that finished is like getting that finished product out for me is always that like that Christmas, like kid on
Hmm.
Christmas joy of just bubbly, like, oh my gosh, it worked.
Yeah,
The thing that I've seen work so many times, it worked
yeah.
again.
Who would have thought? No, I get it. I get it. It's such a yeah. Keeps it fresh.
Yeah,
Um, do you think that this fits into the neurodivergent space, perhaps? And if
absolutely.
so, how?
Yeah. So like my brain kept jumping to different things with this question. So like I actually wrote notes down because I do often like think of this and call this my hyper focus that
Mm,
stuck
mm.
because it's like it's a continuing cycle and you can very much get into like well we got to wait for the clay to get to this texture in order to do the next thing and like it tells you what it wants you to do. My cat's coming to join us.
Yay!
This is Pippin.
Hello. Pippin
But
looks
yeah,
very unimpressed.
he also is blind, so he's like, I don't know what's happening. I just hear people. But yeah.
Cutie.
So it's very good for that like I need routine, but I don't like doing the same thing all the time because there's always another step and there's
Mm,
always something that you can be like doing,
mm.
but it's not repeating the same thing over and over again. Cause like even when I sit down and I throw like 12 of the same mug, the clay acts differently every time. I have to respond differently, and
Mm.
it's gonna change. And so it's like it hits all of those, like, I have to have a schedule, but I don't want to do the same thing all the time things.
Routine, but not mundane routine.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Just structured enough, which is,
Yes.
I feel like slides, it itches that part of a lot of people's brains, I think. Mine for sure.
Absolutely. It also like it very much gives you the freedom to play
Mm,
and to like, you're getting covered with mud. This
yeah.
is not like a clean, prim thing. Like, you're gonna be dirty
Mm,
and grubby, and that is part of it, and that's part of it that I love.
yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
also, it seems very like almost inner child, something about it's like in an inner child playground, getting
Oh,
to,
yeah.
but it like it's so paired really perfectly because like there's like the very grown up like part of you that like thinks of like the beautiful ideas and the way it's gonna look, but then at the end, at some point of it, you're just like a kid in mud and like, yeah.
Yes. And it's like as you get closer to the finish line, it's like it gets more and more like I'm an adult. I'm making
Sure,
art
yeah.
like as an adult. But then at the beginning it's like, hey, I'm gonna like, or oh my gosh, reclaiming clay. So clay, like I talked about, anytime
Mhm.
before it's been fired, it can be turned back into clay, but you have to like turn it into mud and then dry out that mud. So like
Okay.
I always have a big bucket of mud that like when I was teaching and like teaching kids at like an after school program, they would always love to just like shove their hands in it and like squish up all the clumps.
I would. Oh my
It's
gosh.
it's a great time, and then it gets really nasty and stinky and it's so fun.
Stinky?
It gets stinky.
What's it smell like?
Mmm, bad. But my husband has come home before and been like, you're reclaiming again. And I'm like, yep, it's time. Because he'll be like, it smells like sewer. Is everything okay?
That's crazy. I didn't know that part.
Yeah, because it'll get like moldy and it's like all the bacteria from your hands that have been in it.
Yum.
Yeah,
Soup. Good soup.
good soup.
All right. What's something you want someone to know who's just starting this? Like today, they hear this episode and they go, that's what I'm going to do. What would you want to tell them?
I think the most important thing when you are starting any journey with clay is to know that it is going to start out being terrible. Like your first piece on the wheel is gonna collapse probably. You're probably gonna trim through the bottom, and you have to. That's part of the process. And like one of the great things about clay is that it teaches you dealing with failure
Mm,
in a very like low stakes way.
mm.
And so the most important thing to remember if you are like, I'm ready, I'm gonna start doing this, is you're not gonna make a teapot. You're probably gonna make like an ashtray or like a really heavy, dense bowl
Hell yeah.
that has like the thinnest little piece at the
Yeah.
top.
Just always kind of chipping a little bit. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Just like the chunkiest bottom going up into
Aw.
like the tiniest top.
And you'll
Yep.
love it, I'm sure.
And you'll love it.
Yeah.
It'll be great.
You might
And
look at
like,
it and go, ugh, but like,
yeah. And if you stick with it, then like a year later, you'll be like, look at that absolute trash I made.
yeah.
Look at what I'm doing now.
But I did it,
But I did it. And I feel like those failures make getting it good
Mm.
so much better.
Mm-hmm.
Like it gives it
Well,
so much more meaning.
what would you do if you didn't? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like if someone just progressed and they never cut through the bottom or they never did it, they wouldn't know what that was like. So how
Yeah.
do you even? Yeah, it doesn't even make sense.
Yep.
Also, dude, I love, and I don't know the point of it. I want to ask you
Yeah.
those videos. I'm sorry, I keep referring to the stupid fucking TikToks. I got to get off
You're
that.
fine.
Anyway,
That is where most people will know pottery from, is like
it's
social
just
media.
uh, there's the ones where somebody like they're doing it and then they take the string
Mm-hmm.
and they make a whole beautiful vase and then they cut it in half. Why
Yes.
have they done that? I love the way it sounds. I love the way it looks. Why have you done that though?
So generally, when you cut a piece in half, like either you're not happy with it or you know you're not going to fire it or whatever, but it's to check your wall thickness and to check like
That makes so much
how,
sense.
yeah, it's just to check how you did. Like
Uh,
how'd that go?
okay. All
Yeah.
right. Okay. All right. Because I was just like, that's beautiful. What are you doing?
Yep. There is a person in one of my friends' class that I've substituted for who he just spends the entire semester just throwing these absolutely gorgeous vases and then just like squashing them on the wheel immediately.
But I love the sound that that makes when
It
they
makes
would it
like a
bloop.
thump.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love it.
it's so fun. But like I feel like that's also part of the letting go and like the this is a
Yeah,
hobby, this is for fun. I can
yeah.
choose which ones I keep.
It's almost mandala like you put all
Yeah.
this time and this energy into this thing, and then it's like, yeah, man, all right, things go away sometimes. There you go.
Yep. Yep. I've also had to remind people like not everybody has the same goals as you. Like
Mm,
not everybody is trying to become a professional potter. Like a
mm,
lot of people at these community studios, they're just doing it for that grounding. They're just doing it for that relaxation. They don't want to become like a potter making this and doing this as a living because like anybody who's turned their craft into a living knows it does change it.
yeah,
Like it
for
changes
sure.
it from like, oh, I get to do this whenever I want to this is how I pay my bills.
Yeah, yeah,
And like there's still a lot of joy in it and there can
sure.
still be like all of the wonderful things about it. But like that's not everybody's goal.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes it's can be healthy to keep your hobbies a hobby. But other
Yep.
times you can turn that hobby into what you do, and
Yeah.
it's nice to have. Speaking as somebody, and I know you two who have, this is what we have done is we've
Yeah.
taken a hobby and turned it into our thing.
Yes.
um it can be that obligation, that kind of
Yeah.
like thread of obligation runs through it, and that can be like whatever, but at the same time I'm like, what else would I do? What else
Yeah.
am I going to be doing that I actually am like jazzed about?
Yeah.
um so do you have any kind of like, do you have any weird or funny or surprising facts that you have learned through this interest? Like I just learned the one earlier about the cutting the vase in half.
Oh yeah. Oh, I have written down like a very philosophical answer to this.
I love that.
Because I was like trying to think, and I'm like, there's so many weird and funny things that like people have made, or just the embracing, like making weird, goofy things to make you feel better about life. But like the craziest thing that I've noticed from like teaching people and like myself and like talking to other potters is that you throw the way that you feel in that moment.
Oh.
Yeah. So like it's I have a student who every time she's pulling up the walls, she like moves too fast and jerks the clay and it knocks it off center.
Mm,
And like every time it's just like you have to be slow, you have to be gentle, you can't react to these big things that are like or these things that are trying to throw you off.
mm.
If you react it makes it worse. And it's like I've had so many classes where they're like, stop seeing me,
I
stop
don't
it.
want to be perceived about this. Go away.
Exactly. It's like I
Yeah.
don't want to be perceived.
Yeah.
But like it's so much just like I was talking about, if you walk into it and you like ground yourself
Mm,
into it and let that
hmm.
happen, everything's fine. But as soon as you start reacting big or like trying to fight the clay and
Mm.
like just trying to like not let it do what it's gonna do, then it'll fight back and it'll be like, you think that you can do this? That's funny.
That seems extraordinary for someone who might have perhaps control issues or
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
that mindset of like, if I just try hard enough, it'll do what I want it to do. Yeah,
And it won't. Yeah,
that's great.
it's both very good for that like perfectionism and also like getting to that point where you can let go of it is
Mm.
really really hard.
Yeah.
And it takes a hot second.
I do enjoy that there is that kind of meditative aspect to it, though.
Yeah.
Especially, thinking about people who, like you said, don't they that might be all they do, is they never like fully go through with like the firing and the everything else. They just kind of wanna. And is that the am I using the verbiage correctly? Is that you throw? Is that when it's
Yes.
all on the okay?
When it's on the spinny wheel and
Yeah,
you're like fighting with it and then it looks nice and then you make the walls and make it look like a mug.
that's all throwing.
That's all throwing. The
Tight.
whole
Okay.
part on
Learning.
the wheel.
So what has been your favorite like deep dive moment? I know earlier when we were talking about like the different temperatures of the kiln and
Yeah.
why the strength or like why things last so much longer and stuff like that. Not saying that that has to be it, but do you have a favorite deep dive moment?
Um so like my biggest like super nerdy deep dive into clay stuff was while I was in college taking I took a glaze chemistry class and I took a kiln building class.
Kiln building
Kiln
class?
building. Yeah.
Tight.
So there's like the majority of kilns that you see are just electric kilns. They like look like those metal barrels with like
Mm,
yellowish brick inside of them and
sure.
like metal things that heat up and that's how it works. But like going in and learning about like onagama kilns, which are the wood fired kilns, and they can literally
Mm.
be like built into a mountain. Like you dig out parts of a mountain and build a kiln around that
Can
and
you
just
can you
chuck.
say that word one more time? I would like to look that
Yeah.
up.
Onagama. Do not ask me how to spell it. I think it starts with an A.
Hey, you know what? Google smart, it'll probably figure it out.
It'll figure that out. You can just look up wood kiln. That'll probably get you there.
Perfect.
But yeah, there's like all of these different like fun ways of firing work and controlling the atmosphere of the kiln to make the glazes do different things and to make
Mm,
like the chemicals react in this way because they're reducing and like there's all this big jargon and fun words that you can just like put into this like one final finished moment
mm,
of this piece that can completely change how the piece looks.
that's wild. How
Yeah.
finicky is it? How finicky are we talking? Is it like you've got a good span of heat that to work with, or is it like you got to be within a couple of degrees if you want it to do a certain thing? Ooh, that makes me nervous.
Mm-hmm. It is very nerve wracking, and it is also why the majority of people who want consistency use electric kilns
Because you can just set it,
because
I
you can
assume.
just set it and it goes.
Mhm.
Because what happens is you measure the temperature in cones. So, like, mid range is cone 6, but that's not just like a temperature that you have to hit. That is like time over temperature. So it's like when you're cooking chicken, and if you cook it at like 55 degrees long enough, it's fine.
Mm,
But if you just ramp it up really fast, you want to make sure you get all the way to the full cook temperature.
sure, sure.
Food. Uh,
Could you cook chicken in a kiln? Is what
yes.
I'm wondering now.
um, I saw there was a social media post somewhere where somebody put like a big old Thanksgiving chicken in their kiln and cooked it that way, and I'm like, that's gonna take forever, and that's a whole thing. But great. Have I heat up my lunch in a tiny kiln in college before? Yes. Yes, I have.
Amazing. I love that.
It's great.
Why
We
not?
were
It's
we
there.
were just chilling in a basement and we didn't want to leave.
The best times in life happen when you're chilling in a basement, man. What?
It's a great time. I did ceramics and printmaking in college, and both of
Oh,
those they just stuck us in a basement because we had a bunch of big equipment.
you said ceramics and what?
Printmaking.
Printmaking. Oh,
Yes.
okay. With like the, I forget what those are called. Yeah, 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 yeah.
A bunch of different things.
Mm,
There's like
mm-hmm.
big presses. I did like
Yeah,
etchings, and this is the combination of like drawing on my pots plus like the fun functional things is
yeah.
that I also like to do 2D art.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. So yeah, what else do you do 2D art style? Just kind of a
Yeah,
quick little branch off.
just a little side ramble. I used to do, or I have done a lot of watercoloring, and I do a lot of just like doodles and
Are
things.
these behind you yours?
Oh, no, these are not mine. These are other artists and friends that I have
You
gotten
don't just
pieces
hang up
from.
your own art in your home like a
I
psycho? Okay.
I have like one piece of my art, but like I have I'm like I don't know how far I can turn this where you'd be able to see it. But I have like prints over on this wall over here
Oh,
that
hey.
I just they're just like traded from the other people in my like printmaking classes cuz we all
Fun.
went I have 50 of these now. So here, let's just do one of
Like,
these.
oh god, this might be very specific, but like in the Girl Scouts, we used to make little
Yeah,
like, do you remember? Okay,
the little swaps.
little, yeah. You'd do the swap, and you'd do like little charms or bracelets. I
Yep.
don't remember what it was, but yeah,
Or like I remember
fun.
doing them with like beaded safety pins.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah,
Yep.
those and then pipe cleaners. I was obsessed
Yes.
with pipe cleaners. Okay, all right. I have more questions. Hold on, professional. Uh, has this passion helped connect you to other people or helped you feel seen in some particular way or found community? Or is it maybe more like of a solo thing?
So at this point in time, I'm working in a home studio. So, like, the majority of the stuff is very solo. However, the clay community is enormous, and the majority of them are really wonderful. And so it's crazy because it is a very like you're in your own head, like you're grounding yourself, you're doing your own work. But there's so many people who like I haven't talked to this person in ages, but I can be like, "Hey, you know how to do this thing. What am I doing? Can you help me?" And because we all have this common like there's so many factors that could go wrong with ceramics, we're all like, "Yes, let me help you. Let me get this." I've like messaged random people on Instagram being like, "What glaze is that? What you doing?" And they're like, "Oh, you want the recipe?" And I'm like, "That'd be great."
I love That's what I love about like niche communities though, is
Yes.
like a lot, not all the time, but like a lot of the time, reaching out to somebody, they're like, you appreciate this thing that I did? Oh, sick. Let's talk about it. Yeah.
You've been through all the things that I went through?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
You see me? Yeah.
Yes. But like also on the other side of that, like I have sent my ceramics to so many people in like so many parts of not only the US but the world
Mm.
that like a friend of mine when she was having a really rough time, she like messaged me and was just like, "I just want you to know that every time I'm having this, it's really lovely to just like have my coffee in your mug because then it feels like I'm sitting there with my friend
Yeah.
and that you're
Oh,
there giving me a little hug." And I'm just like bawling as she's telling me this. And I'm
it
like,
is.
"That's all I want."
It is very special. Yeah, it is. There's something very special. I know that I've way back when, I don't even remember when, you sent to Waba the
Oh, yeah.
little ghosty incense burner circly dude.
Oh,
And I know that that brings me a lot of joy whenever I'm able to have him around. Yeah.
I'm so
Um
glad.
but it's anytime anyone makes something with their hands and gives it
Yeah.
to you, it's like shit.
Yes.
Um, okay. I'm gonna let's spill the tea. I don't want to say that. Let's talk shit. What's a common let's do crab hands. What's a
Cravens.
common misconception that people might have about this interest that you want to set straight?
People all the time will come in to like do like a little one-off trial class and they'll be like, "I want to make a vase, I want to make a teapot." And or people will ask like, "Oh, I made this today, so can I come pick it up tomorrow?"
Mm.
And so that whole misconception of that it's easy
Mhm.
or that it's fast in any way, those are the things that I would just like to be like, this is the most not instant gratification you can like ever do. This is the one for the long haul. Like for me to make a piece and have enough work to fill up the kiln and like run through the whole process, it takes a month minimum.
Mm,
That is
damn.
quick.
Yeah. Yeah. Shit.
Yeah.
Uh, See, and that's what I would like is when somebody's like, "I wanna come in and make a teapot." I'd be like, "Okay, come on. Let's
Great.
try it. Let's do it."
It's like you can make all the pieces for the teapot, but if you're leaving in 2 hours, then that means it hasn't had time to dry. you won't be able to make these attachments. That means that we're gonna have to just like attach things later. Like, that, yeah, that's
I
the main
love
one.
there's a petty part of me, and I understand that this might be, whatever, but there's a petty part of me that's like, I love people finding out that things are a lot harder than they think they are.
It's it's fantastic. And it's also like, you know how I was talking about like you throw how you're feeling in that moment?
Yeah.
Like watching people come in and go from that like, oh, this is easy, I got this no problem, and then just getting like
Sweating.
chucked around.
Help!
And just being like, oh no. It's an instant thing.
I love that. I love that. I love when a hobby will humble someone and then you're kind of like, you know what? This thing demands respect. So
Yeah. Like anytime somebody is new to a class or whatever, I'm always like, okay, this first piece, we're just gonna see how it goes.
yeah,
I don't know what's going on. We'll see how this goes, and then
might
you can
kick your
decide
ass.
on your next
Why not?
piece.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you want to make a lidded jar.
Is that okay? Okay. See, I knowing nothing, I'm like, oh, that sounds easy. So I lit a jar, not easy.
No, because there's like different ways to do it, but
And you got to make the lid
basically
fit, right?
you got
Yeah.
the lid's got to fit, so you got to throw it to precise measurements. And so that's not easy.
Your face was very like, okay, don't.
I talk a lot with my face, so
Oh, I'm somebody that understands that completely. I just, those like memes that are like, they can't tell how I'm feeling, but it's like, meanwhile, my face is like,
like
yeah.
yeah.
Or
Like
they don't know I don't like them, and it's like, yeah. So what is something that you are still exploring in this area? We're never truly masters of our craft or whatever.
oh yeah.
What's something that you're like jazzed about getting into and exploring a little bit more?
Yeah. So I am always like I love playing with functionality, and I love to create like not just mugs, but like multi-part juicers or butter bells or like different
Ah,
things. The butter
sorry, I love
bells.
a butterbell. I tried to keep
They're
that
great.
inside.
But like I love playing with different functional things and like playing along that line. So that's one of the things that I will nerd out and be very excited about. But also, like, there's a whole thing about glaze chemistry because glaze chemistry is difficult. And that's something that like I'm just like dipping my toe a little bit more into understanding since that like glaze chem class back in college, because materials are like no longer being mined anymore, and so
Ooh,
potters are having to like shift and refix all of their a lot of glazes,
interesting.
which has been like a thing that hasn't happened for like 30 plus 50 years. I don't know, a long time.
Wow.
It's been a
Yeah.
while since like just straight up a material has been like, we're not doing that anymore. And like every tiny, it's like with crystals, like a tiny little difference will turn it from this crystal into being that crystal. Like there's all these tiny little differences in
Interesting.
like this type of clay versus this type of clay. So if
Yeah.
you use that in your glaze, then it'll make it look different.
So like when we're saying like, it's mud,
Yeah,
that sounds very simple, but like sounds like it's a lot more than mud.
it's highly formulated mud.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah,
bespoke,
it's
specialized
it's
mud.
very fancy mud, and everybody has very strong opinions about their mud.
I can imagine. See, that's another thing I love about a niche community is there are people get like frothy about their
Yeah,
opinions on things, which I love. I know that sounds like I'm being judgmental. I'm not. I love that shit. Um, Speaking of, you were talking about the functionality and liking
yeah.
to find different function. Did that like influence the name of your business at all, which is
Flora and function.
quickplug
Hey,
dot
hey.
com?
Yeah. With there's dashes in between the
All
words
right. Link
because
down below.
punctuation. Yep,
Link
we'll
in
do
the
them
whatever.
links.
But
um,
tell me about how you came to that name.
yeah. It Honestly, I did like one of those word bubble maps
Mm-hmm.
of like, what are the words that I would use to describe what I do and where I want to go with this, and what's in, like, give me enough flexibility to
Mm,
grow and change and not be limited. And I'm like, well, I like to play with functional things. I'm
mm-hmm.
making functional things, and there's pretty much always going to be some sort of herbs or flowers, because like I started also, like, I kind of did this in a funny way, but I started drawing plants on my pots and then was like, I want to know more about these plants, and like went back and started
That's
studying
really cool.
herbalism.
That's really cool though. Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
cool. So this is kind of where so the physical drawing and the like the artistic application is sort of where the interest in the more like tangible herbs comes from.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
So like the majority of the plants that I draw on my pots are things that I grow in my own garden, or things that I am trying to learn about through herbalism. And like I
Cool.
did a series of pieces that was like my apothecary series, where I would like very meticulously like render the plant, trying to make it look as much like the plant as possible, like
Mm-hmm.
least stylized. And then I would just write all the way around the mug, and like going and going and going, just like anything that I could find about that
That's
plant.
so cool. That's so
Yeah.
cool. What do you have currently like available that you're working? Like, what is your favorite thing that you've got like available right now?
One of my favorite things is the travel mugs. So I have work online at my website. Not a ton of it right now, but I'll be putting some more up as I make more things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the travel mugs are so fun because like there was a huge thing going around on the social medias of people making the mugs with like the little flat half tops, and I do not like those because my brain goes, "How do you wash that? That doesn't. That's gonna just trap stuff."
Sure, sure. I love that about your brain.
that's that's immediately where my brain goes. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
not functional
That
enough.
I was just about to say that's not good function.
Yes, exactly. So, I when I was driving to a studio that was like 30-45 minutes away, and I was going there every day, I was like, I still want to use ceramic mugs. And I found that there's a company called Portavia,
Uh,
which is to go in Italian, that makes these silicone lids that like squish into the inside of your mug and like hold on to the
mm,
sides. And like your mug doesn't have to be perfectly round, and it can have like a little variety in the size, and it'll still like squish in and hold well. Unlike the ones that sit on top, it has to be
mm.
like this precise thickness and like this precise everything. And I'm like, clay shrinks.
Yeah.
That's hard. I
Yeah.
don't want
I
to do
didn't
that.
even yeah, wow. That's crazy. Macy, I know. She has one of
Yeah.
the travel I know she loves it. She's it's that she's drinking out of that, or she's drinking when we used to record more frequently, or she's drinking out of the big, I don't know if you've ever seen it, her big goofy like Cthulhu
Oh
mug,
yeah.
but it's those two. Like it's those two consistently, and I love that. Yeah.
Yes.
So and what a great idea, that feels like a problem that someone who like knew how the inner world works, and they're like, I have an idea to fix that.
Yeah.
Um
And it's like, yeah.
how does this thing fit into your life today? Is this a daily thing that you do and you're just like used to doing it, or is it something you only use as like an outlet?
Yeah. At this point, it is like almost daily. Like it is very much, I treat it like my job at this point.
Mhm.
And so I am working on some part of this process all the way through. But like I said, Pippin's coming back to join.
I love it.
But like I said, it's like that thing where the clay's always at a different step. So I'm not just throwing every single
Yeah.
day. It's like I'll throw on this day, and then I'll trim on this day, and I'll throw some more, and then I'm decorating, and then I'm
Mhm.
trimming, and then like we're just working through this whole like back and forth process.
Always something to do. Always something
Always
going
something to
on. Yeah.
do. For sure.
I love that though, because I don't know, that to me is I like that so much more than like clock in at this time and then do this through
Yeah.
these hours and stuff like that. It's very motivating to be like, I'm tired of doing this one particular task right now. I'm gonna go do a different task right now.
Yep, yep. And like actually decorating the mugs is one of the things that like takes the longest time, and just like that is the part that I least look forward to do, but it also is the part that makes the product at the end that I
Mm.
really really enjoy. And so I'm going to keep doing it. Cat. Um but it's like that's the part where I'm like I have to remember to find joy in that part too.
Right, 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 yeah. Like, I'll do
No.
it because I like the end product, but the journey
Yes.
there is not exactly my favorite.
Yeah.
Um, I have heard before now this might be for somebody who wants to perhaps have, like, their own entire studio with, like, the full-ass kiln and everything. I've heard it can be, like, a pricey little thing to do, pricey
Yeah.
some to do. If you did have, however, like, unlimited time,
Mhm.
unlimited resources, what's the, like, biggest, wildest thing that you would do with this passion?
Oh my gosh. The problem is I think I'm kind of doing it anyway.
Hell yeah! Good!
Cuz like the biggest wildest thing I can think like that I want to do is like I just want to make cute things all the time.
Yeah!
Like I want to spread the little bits of joy and
Yeah.
get them into people's homes and lives and like regular lifestyle. So it's like
You doing
I
it
kind of
anyway. I love
this
that.
is this is what I'm doing.
Yeah. It's like that old question, if you won the lottery, what would you do if you didn't
Yeah.
need the money? And then that answer is supposed to inform what you do with your life anyway. It's like you're kinda doing that, like, you're just doing the damn thing. So, thank you so much for coming on today, and I just before we get out of here, is there anything I didn't touch on, anything else that you wanna say about this or any other kind of little love letters to clay, to pottery that you wanna throw out there?
Oh, little love letters to clay. I like that. There's the episode title. We got
Okay, I wanna write it down.
it. Perfect. Um, I don't know. We covered a lot. I went on a lot of side rants.
Those are my favorite kind.
It's the best time. Um, I think like talking to the clay. I'm just like, thank you.
Really, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as somebody who has some of your items in my care, I like knowing that. That makes me like that's a little just extra layer. Speaking of
Oh,
having the items in my care, if
yes.
you out there in the world want to have some of these items in your care, where can we find your stuff? Tell me about your business. Give me your website, your
Yes.
socials, your personal uh I
You
asked
can
for
email me at
yeah, your
Flora.
your home address. Uh
Come visit in Atlanta. No, but like actually come visit in Atlanta. Like I do a lot of pop-up markets and like pop-up shows around town. Those are all linked on my website. I try to keep people up to date. I actually definitely updated that last night before we were recording today. Because like we're starting to get into like spring market season because everything kind
Mm,
of dies down when it's freaking cold.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you can visit me at markets. You can also come and shop my wares online on my website. I also have work at like several different shops. Those are also linked on my website. Um, I try to keep all the information there.
Sure.
Um, but
But
like
hey,
there's,
smart move.
I try. I try to pretend that I'm a good business person.
As you get older and you start to meet more and more business people, I think you find out that's just what we're all doing.
Yeah.
We're all faking it till we're making it, you know?
Like I'm gonna just put all the information I can out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. And
You
then
can
if anyone's
also
really good at it, I think they're hiring somebody. I think
oh
they're hiring a type A person. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. All the spreadsheet people, all those Virgos who are just like, let me type up all of your numbers for
Oh,
you.
I love the Virgos. Where would
I
we
love them
be?
so much.
What's your sign?
I am a Pisces.
I knew that. I knew that about you. Okay.
But I also like I am a Capricorn rising, and I definitely go into the world like a Capricorn business side first. I'm like, look at
Mhm.
my art.
Yeah. And then
It's right
it comes
there.
from this place of feeling because I'm a Pisces.
It comes from my all of my inner things because
All
I'm a
my
Pisces. But look,
water fishness. Yeah. I love that.
exactly.
I think for an artist, for somebody who's doing their own, has their own business and stuff, I think a Pisces Capricorn mix is one of the best mixes that you could possibly have.
It's good. It's got the creative and the I got to get shit done.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh,
Yep.
man. If I could have a shred of Capricorn in my life, that would be great. Thank you so much for being here. This was a great time.
Thank you
Uh,
so much. I'm so glad that I got to like rant at you about clay.
I I hope that you got to say everything that you wanted to say because I feel like I just kept jumping in like, "That's cool!" But, I'm, like, super pumped up, like, I really want to, like, go to one of the classes, and I'll show up and I'll be like,
Yes.
"I understand that it's gonna take time. I'm not like these other people." But
Honestly though, like every person who teaches, like there's always that little bit of anxiety of like, oh no, are they going to come in and think that they can like have something finished today? So
yeah, yeah.
literally for everybody listening, one, you should definitely go and try out a clay class somewhere. Even just like doing it once and like getting that appreciation for it and understanding is
Mhm.
amazing. But walk in there knowing it going to take time.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and I know that now because, like, I again, the only real experience I had with it was A, watching TikTok videos,
Yep.
and B, when I was in kindergarten or whatever and I made the weird Stonehenge thing, and to me, in my
Yeah.
in my kid brain, I made it that day and I also took it home that day, which I'm sure
And it
was
was
not the case.
done. Yeah.
But,
No, so many people so many people come in and like approach me at markets or something, and pretty much everybody has a story of either doing this when I was little and oh my
Mhm,
gosh, that was so much fun,
mhm.
or like my great aunt Susie used to play in mud all the time and look at this weird thing she made. And
Hell yeah.
it's the
Hell
best.
yeah. I love Weird Aunt Susie, man.
So much.
Oh my gosh. So all of your information is linked below and,
Yes.
especially your website, which I hear has additional links to things that you're doing and things going on.
Yep.
Everybody, please check it out. You're gonna find the cutest things. I was scrolling, I was stalking a little bit before we were doing this, just kinda, like,
Oh.
looking through things, and that's when I saw the little ghost with the butt again, and I was like, "I remember you!" Anyway, thank you so much, and I think unless you tell me otherwise, we're gonna go ahead with little love letters to Clay on
I
this.
I think that's perfect. I think that's lovely.
Alright, and then we'll probably just fade the episode out right here. Everybody's got a thing, and I wanna hear about yours. If you're deep into it and ready to share, slide into my inbox about your thing. Whole thing podcast at gmail.com.